Okay, well, back part 2 or 3 or whatever. Um, I feel like I want to throw up again. Huh. It's just that I'm not even thinking anything right now. I just feel like I want to throw up. Anyway, when back in 2010, I mean, it was the same. It just wasn't as bad in the sense that this one is legit, you know? Like last time it felt worse, you know, and I reacted worse to this pain that you get that burns through you and all its accompanying symptoms because I wasn't ready for it, you know? Like I never known these feelings, of like having to watch someone you love walk away, into this world of sin and degeneration. It's degeneration. That's what it is. You know? I it's like imagine you're like a Christian parent or whatever and like you raise your kids and you're like like you're like, hey, like don't do these things, like don't have premarital sex, you're going off to college, uh, behave like you want to be remembered by your children, you give them all this advice, because to you it's a big deal, like it's not like whatever. And then like you find out that they're doing that they're like buying condoms and shit and like they've slept with several people and like it's just casual to them, it doesn't mean anything. Like it's like that's everything you believe and stand for. Like that's everything that makes who you are. Like to you as a person, to that parent, like life is not even worth living. Like if nothing has a consequence, if nothing means anything, then what kind of a world is this, Like if these, like it's not because you're gonna get to heaven, it's like it just doesn't mean anything. Like you can do anything you want and it doesn't mean anything. You can go and kill someone and it doesn't mean anything. Like it's like, oh, I just felt rage and I just did it. Like it doesn't have any consequences. It doesn't change who I am. Like I mean, I feel bad that I did it, but it's like it was a mistake. That's it, and like we move on. If you go and steal from people and like underpay them and they can't meet the rent, and you're like, oh, whatever, doesn't mean anything. If you spend your whole life like as a parent, like like fucking being on Insta, what do you call that? Fuck, the Tinder. You spend your whole life as a parent on fucking Tinder. You never sat down with your kids once. You just kind of feed them their chicken nuggets and like let them watch TV all day and then go on dates. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make you a bad parent. Nothing, not just a parent, a person. Nothing that you do, no matter what you fucking do with your life, nothing makes you a bad person. Nothing. There's nothing that makes you a bad person. Nothing. Like, everybody is perfect. Everybody is good. No matter what you do. If you are selfless and are like feeding, people or like you study your whole life to like try to find cures or like not just finding cures or like you study your whole life to become a, chemistry like laboratory person and like because you want to make the medicine because you don't want people to die, so you want to make sure that you make this medicine that already exists, or like you want to truly be a teacher because you feel like kids aren't getting the education that they need, or like that person, the selfish one, and let's say a selfish one, right? A person who works in collections, like, and it just collects debts, or like credit card debts, or like, who else will be serving themselves? A lawyer, who's like, who knows he's overcharging, and like people come to him or her and they beg him, like, please, like, they're gonna take my kid away, or like, please, I don't have money to pay you, but I'll try to like make a payment plan. No, listen. You give me the advance or nothing. I don't care if you can't represent yourself in court, and like you might potentially lose your kid. Like if you can't pay the 2,000 starters, I'm not gonna go represent you. I don't care. Like the difference between, or like your landlord, like putting up the rent $100 even though he knows you can't make it. The difference between a good and a bad person, like, it just doesn't exist, because nothing means anything. There's nothing a person can do. Nothing. There's nothing a person can do that makes them a bad person. They can fuck casually, and it doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't change anything. They can do anything, Like, when you think fuck casually, you think, oh, fucking every week. No. Forget about it. Like, even every 6 months. Like, he fucks one person every 6 months. That's casually, because he doesn't want to marry them. He doesn't want to marry them. He doesn't want to stay with them forever. He's not going to love them when they're old, when they're not pretty anymore, when they're in their 50s and 40s. He's not going to love them. Like, he likes them because he likes what he sees now. But, 10, 20 years from now, he's not going to love that anymore. And he has absolutely no intention of sticking around for 20 years or 30 or 40, and then you see all these old ladies walking around by themselves because they never met a truly good man. They only met men who like what they saw at the time. If sex doesn't mean anything, which it does, it affects you right now. It affects your future children, your current children, and children that you might have one day. Because I guess I'm talking too much. I'm like dragging this on. Like, you're gonna listen to it, right? It affects like everybody in your future, because even if this relationship doesn't work out, it affects the next one. Because you should have found out everything about this person before you did anything physically. You should have found out everything. You should have found out everything that they believe, everything that they would do, everything that they can do, Like everything. Political views, religious views, habits, like what they would do in every given scenario, how they would react, how they think about you, how they see a relationship. You should find out everything about a person before you sex, before you hug, before you kiss even. You should find out everything before. Like, I don't understand why people go like, oh, like they kiss after a week, or like, oh, it's a time thing. It's not a getting to know them thing. It's a time thing. Like, let's say you meet a person and you're dating and you only see each other on the weekends. Let's say like on Saturdays or whatever. And it's like, well, you started dating this Saturday, so in a month, in 3 more weekends, then you can kiss. Because it's a time thing. And it's like, let's say there's this other person that they see each other for a month, but they see each other every single day. Now, of course, the person that sees each other every single day in those 30 days of the month will have found out more about that person than the person who only saw him 4 days in a month, those 4 Saturdays. So people do that though. Like, well, like stupid people, especially here in the United States. Like, this is not so much common law in Mexico. like in Mexico, it makes more sense. People don't go like, oh, after a month, it's the kiss. If he can hold up a month, then and if he sticks around with you 3 months, then you can let him inside your body and let him come inside you. It's like, what the fuck, Like, you don't know this person. That's why you break up. You break up because you find out a year later, or 2 years later, or 3 years later, or maybe 6 months later. You found out later something that you didn't ask at the beginning, or that you didn't see at the beginning. You found out later, like after you let them in your body, after you kissed them with your mouth, after you found out there was something you didn't like about them. It's like, well, Jesus fuck, man. Like, think about it first. Get to know the person first, truly. In every scenario, not just in a, oh, we went out to a party scenario. It was fun. Of course it was fun. It was a party. You guys didn't talk about anything that mattered. Sorry. I just feel like so repulsed and like, I know you're not fucking doing this. You're not even doing this with Madden. You're not doing what you should be doing. You're not asking the questions. Your brain is not thinking the questions that you should be thinking. It's not thinking logically of how you should be doing things, how it makes sense. It's not like a time thing, like if you know them for a month, 4 weekends on a Saturday, or every day of the month, like then you get to kiss them with your mouth and like lick their tongue. Lick their tongue. And then like 3 months after that, you found out you didn't like something that they did. And then you're like, oh shit, well, I guess I put my tongue in their mouth and I let them put their tongue in me. And then you have to live that for the rest of your life, And like, I know to y'all is not a big thing, It's like, it doesn't fucking matter how many tongues mommy let in her mouth of these strangers and fucking they're just strangers, If I went right now on the street and I started like making out with everybody and let them put their tongue in my mouth and like caress it with my tongue and shit, that just makes you a bad person, Like, it means something to let somebody into your mouth or into your body. It means something, It means something. Like, forget about them touching me with their tongue, right? Okay? Let's say they just grope my ass. They just give me a little squeeze. Just a little soft squeeze in my butt. Like, hey, you have a nice butt. Imagine I went on the street right now. And I just pick 10 women. And I just say, hey, give it a little squeeze. Just a little squeeze. For like half a second. And they just did. And say, hey, you have a nice butt. And they just left. Like, and it doesn't mean anything, It doesn't mean anything. Imagine it doesn't mean anything. That's what people think. It doesn't mean anything. And then like, you have children, right? And then let's say I have children. And then I'm like, oh, your daddy, he went to the street and he let 10 random strangers grope his butt. But it doesn't mean anything. It's still a little a butt grope. It doesn't mean anything at all. Like, it doesn't make me a bad person. Because nothing makes me a bad person. I didn't let them in my mouth. That would make you a bad person. I didn't let them in my body. That would make you a bad person. No, I just let them give me a little grope in my butt. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. It doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't change who I am for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean anything. It does mean something, I'm just sick of this fucking mentality everybody fucking has. That nothing that they do makes them bad. Like, the only thing that makes people bad is if they do fucking, like, shootings and shit, if they kill, or if they rob. That's the only things that can make you a bad person. Stealing money or killing people. Like, nothing else that we do, makes us bad people. Nothing. You know? Everything. You're not gonna fucking listen to this videos. I just get so sad because I know you're not gonna fucking watch them. And like, and I just want you to fucking know these things so you think. And like, it takes hours to text you, you know? It takes hours to make them on video. Imagine texting them. Oh, God. You should know everything about a person. Like, as much as you possibly can. That's what dating is. Dating is not going out and having fun, you know? Dating is getting to know the person, you know? You have to get to know them. That's what dating is. Getting to know everything that they do to make sure, you know, that when you take a next step, when you decide, okay, this is somebody I can see myself marrying, then you can kiss them. You know, take the next step. After you get to know them. If I grab a chick right now and I don't tell her anything about me, I don't tell her what I think, I don't tell her what I think about God, I don't tell her what I think, how I think children should be raised, even if we don't have children. I don't tell her about my life mission. I don't tell her that I think eating too much meat is bad. Not just for yourself, we never think about the animal and how they're living, you know, they're all like living in little fucking cages, in little fucking barns, they can't even move, you know, and they're good animals, they think and everything, they're not stupid. If I don't tell her everything that I think, you know, everything that I think about, like life, let's say I just grab a chick, you know me, right, Brad? You think, I want to do another part on this because I've been doing it for a while.